pack a bag and follow the sun. Kick off your shoes and have some fun.
Hey there, thank you so much for joining me for this week's edition of Read Watch List, and I'm super excited about this one. We're doing something a little bit different. I've not only got a guest, I've got an amazing artist, Christina Yielding. She's here with me today, and she's actually painting live, which I'm really excited about. Hi, Christina.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely.
This is so much fun watching this thing evolve right before our eyes. I'm totally amazed by what you're capable of. What do you say to that, right?
It's not really me. I'm just allowing some energy to come through me. How about that?
I love the way you say that. I love that. I love that you're inspired by the music that you listen to when you paint. That's super cool. Speaking of music, she came here today with her recommendation for a book, a movie, and a piece of music. And we're going to start with her book, and it is called The Four Agreements by Miguel Ruiz. Tell me why you picked that one, Christina.
It picked me, actually. When I'm having one of those days where I feel a block or something, I just go to half-price books, and a book always seems to find me with the book fairy, and that's the book that found me that day.
That's what you needed right then, huh?
And it's what so many other people have gotten from me since I've gotten that, since I read the book. I've given that away to I don't know how many people.
I love that. I love that. I've had another friend who mentioned to me that she needed to go to the bookstore and have a book find her, and it did, and she was very happy about that. So if you're needing something, just don't even worry about it. Go to the store and it'll find you. And that's how you found the Four Agreements. What's the first one?
Be impeccable with your word.
Be impeccable with your word. Live
Sounds
in
easy?
integrity.
Give it a shot, though. You have to really focus on it and really try to be impeccable with your word. That means do everything that you say you're going to do.
Even to yourself.
Especially to yourself.
Especially to yourself. I love that. Be impeccable with your word. The second one is
don't take things personally.
don't take anything personally.
I read that chapter over and over and over and over.
You know, one thing that you said about this book that I love as an author, there are so many rules out there for writers if you look them up or talk to a publisher or anything about what a book ought to be. And you said this one is how long?
4 chapters.
It's just 4 chapters.
It's the 4 agreements. It's literally, and a 3rd grader can understand it the way that it's written.
And it changed your life. So any of you out there that are writing, when you hear these things about how many words it needs to be or how many pages it needs to be or how many chapters it needs to be, it really just needs to be your book. I love that about this book. And then the 3rd agreement is don't make assumptions. I personally love that one because it seems to me that all aggravation comes from having an expectation that isn't met. And the truth is, people don't even understand that if they just didn't have expectations and they just took what came at them and accepted it as it is, then they wouldn't have any disappointment, which gives you total control, and total control feels really good, right?
It does.
It does. I love that one. And the 4th one?
Always do your best.
Always do your best.
You can't regret anything if you're always doing your best.
You can't regret anything if you're always doing your best. I wish more kids could hear that on a daily basis. It seems like kids are told that they need to reach some bar or be somewhere they're not, and if they've done their best, that sometimes it feels like that's not good enough, and that's never true, right?
Right, and it also kind of makes you question, if you can just ask yourself that question when you're doing anything, is this my absolute best, or can I do better? What can I do to make this better? And you actually do that next step, normally that opens another doorway of opportunities.
And it's so important what you just said, that do your best for you.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks your best is.
That's right.
Yeah. So that changed your life, The Four Agreements. I have to admit I haven't read it, but I look forward to reading it.
It's going to change your life.
I'm sure. Thank you for bringing that to me. And then the second one is your watch, and I'm super excited about that. Tell me what it is.
Crash.
Crash. I love that movie. It won the Academy Award the year it came out, and it was my favorite movie that year. That never happens. Christine Crockett-Smith's favorite movie never wins the Academy Award. He's one of the few directors who has won 2 Academy Awards that close together. He also won one for $1 Million Baby, and I have featured that before, but I haven't featured Crash, and it's one of my favorite movies, so I'm so glad that you mentioned it. What did you love about it?
I love how it just made it so clearly that we're all intertwined, and it just put everybody connected, and we really are. And it's hard for people to see that and understand that. So that movie was a perfect example of just how much you think that you may not like somebody, that they could really be there for you one day, and that we are all connected, and that you might need that person sometimes. So you might want to think twice about how you're treating them.
Yeah, and I think you have a little permanent reminder of that, don't you?
Yes, I do actually. I decided to get a tattoo around my ankle of a connection, of a circle, to remind me that we are all connected. And if I'm not where I'm supposed to be, my feet can take me to another direction.
I love that. I love that. Man, if everybody just lived that way.
It's a conscious effort.
The world would be a beautiful place. Crash. If you haven't seen it, go see it. And if you haven't seen it in a while, see it again. Another thing I love about it is how it just makes it so crystal clear that racism is so ridiculous. Humans are humans, and you don't need to hate anybody, and you don't need to love anybody more than anybody else. Just love people, right?
That's exactly right. When the lights go out, we're all the same color.
That's right, and that's Crash, written and directed by Paul Haggis. And then for her listen, I love this one because I got to discover some new music. Her name is Lindsey Stirling. She plays the violin. She was actually the #1 ranked video on YouTube in 2015, and I've never heard of her, so maybe you haven't either. Tell me what you love about Lindsey Stirling.
Well, she was discovered on America's Got Talent.
Cool.
And I love the fact that she plays the violin and she's put contemporary dubsteps in with her music. So she's taken an instrument that is classical and brought it to modern day and put beats with it to where now younger generations can respect and enjoy an instrument that normally was put on the back shelf.
Right. They can relate to it.
Right, and there's no words, so it's just rhythm and vibration, and that's what I need when I paint, is vibrations. Because it's a frequency that I tune into.
Absolutely. And she also, I just discovered that she redid a piece by Imagine Dragons, Radioactive, with pentatonics, which I also love. And you're right, it makes the younger generation be able to listen to string instruments, that kind of string instruments, in a really different way.
And she inspired me so much that when I found out she was coming to Dallas, I went to her show and I took her a painting, and it got to her and I got to meet her. There's a picture of us on my website together. And that's where I came up with the motto, living the dream.
Oh.
Because I really am living the dream.
I love that so much. Isn't it amazing that whatever vibration you're living at so beautifully attracts other people at the same vibration? It's like the two of you were supposed to meet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a divine appointment.
Absolutely.
And now my painting is in her house in LA.
Yay! Christina Yielding in Lindsey's house in LA. That's wonderful. So her recommendation for a read is The Four Agreements, for a watch is Crash, and for a listen is pretty much anything by Lindsey Stirling.
Yes.
Thank you for being here, Christina.
Thank you.
And I will see you next week.